BEE cannot work because it breaks basic economic principles. Why doesn't he just fire Mkhwanazi?
Yeah.
And it's like, have you been following all the connections with Mkhwanazi?
Us podcasters must stick together. So, in spirit of the podcasters team sticking together, I've got back one of my favorite human beings and fellow podcaster, Bonsai Shongwe. Bonsai, welcome back.
Thank you. It's awesome to be with my favorite platform.
You see, here we go.
You must just invite me to Political Insider.
Yeah, that one, that's a secret. Don't tell these people.
It's awesome to see, and
yes,
thanks again.
Yeah, I just thought it's we the last time you were on, it was so popular, and I thought, well, let's have the regular discussion, because you are analyzing the news, I'm analyzing the news, and it's always worth comparing notes.
Yeah,
seeing what you think and what we think, because just so people can get this cross view.
Yeah.
And we can deal with some of the stuff, and it's fun because largely we see the things quite similarly, but not always exactly the same. So it's good to have this discussion.
And I must interrupt you before you ask me your first question, but I think your classic of all time was when you did the stages of loss.
Oh yeah, stages of grief. Yeah,
of grief.
Yeah.
And matched each stage to what the ANC's done. I think that was pure gold.
Thank you. Yeah, because they and I think that we might as well dive in there. And that is, we both deal with the ANC a lot. They're still the biggest talking point in South Africa's politics.
Yeah.
But I find it astounding that they don't understand that they're dying. There is a cure, there's a tablet they could take, but they just refuse to go to the medicine cabinet.
Yeah. No, I think they just stuck in a death loop.
Yes.
And it's almost like that situation where you're watching a child who's walking and you see they're about to hit a pole, but you have no words to say stop, or you don't know what to say, and it happens in slow motion, and you watch the accident happen. And I think that's what's happening with the ANC. They are watching themselves go down, and it's in slow motion. They can't do anything about it.
Well, I suppose they could do something about it. They're just not going to do anything about it. Because, I mean, that to me is the craziest bit.
Yeah.
Is that they could, of all the positions of all the parties, if you're playing a game here, you'd kind of want that position, right? You'd want to be there, and you'd just go in there and manage the thing properly, one would imagine.
I guess if you didn't have landmines all around the house.
Yeah, that's true.
So, because if I was
there's landmines,
now,
snipers.
What do you do? What can you do?
Yeah.
You can't, we listen sometimes, why doesn't he just fire Mkhwanazi?
Yeah.
And it's like, have you been following all the connections with Mkhwanazi leading up till now? He absolutely can't. And we may not know all the intricacies, but how do you fire the guy that buried CR17 for you? Right. So then you've just got to kind of balance, and I think they locked in. Hey, they are, and the best person who just captured this for us was smaller skeleton nyana.
Butterbile,
so the
skeleton, the great poet.
Smaller skeleton nyanas are too much everywhere, so they can't do nothing.
Yeah, some of the best ANC statements have been done by mistake, and that one was.
No, but I mean, it takes the gold.
Yeah, that was the gold. But let's just talk about the compromised position of Cyril.
Yeah.
Because he's compromised on two fronts, right?
Yeah.
One was CR17, which I must admit, if I was him, I would say, I will disclose my finances if Nkosi discloses her finances.
That would solve it.
Yeah, that would solve it.
No, that would solve it because she won't either.
Because we know he's hiding a story, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of, for those that weren't concentrating when Cyril Ramaphosa won the ANC's, was at the elective conference in 2017 and won the presidency of the ANC, which guaranteed him the presidency of the country. He mysteriously got a whole lot of money, which went to delegates, and he then won an election that it looks like he was going to lose. The question is, what was his opponent doing? Because she also had a lot of delegates that voted for her, and they weren't going to vote for free. They were turning down Cyril's money, so therefore they must have been getting something of their own.
Yeah, and he doesn't know who sponsored him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we often,
Yeah. Money often hits my bank account, and I don't know.
Yeah, especially when it's like 50 million and above, you tend to not check. Yeah.
And then, of course, the second albatross around his neck is the fact that he didn't really know whether or not he sold buffaloes. But suddenly there was $500,000 that were buried in his couch.
Actually, that's what Mkhunu buried. And apparently the buffaloes are still there.
They're still there, yeah.
Yeah. But they will fetch them, I mean.
Yeah, my best was the guy who suddenly fetched up to say, yeah, it was me. I forgot. I forgot that I just spent $580,000. That's what they said. That's the reported figure to buy buffaloes, but I forgot about them. I forgot to go and fetch them. I don't know how often you buy stuff for $500,000 and forget.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we laugh about it, but it's sort of been it's been the legacy of his leadership that he could never really act. We're always talking about, it's not in his nature at the best of times, but he was compromised from the start. And he wasn't a strong enough character like, say, Jacob Zuma, that would tell people to go to hell or would gather dirt on other people. He just had to grin and bear it and play along, try and keep everybody happy.
Yeah, no, Zuma is definitely a better leader than Ramaphosa, and had a spine. You remember his reshuffles.
Yes.
I mean, he would reshuffle now, next thing, he's dancing.
Yeah.
So that's one positive about Zuma, is he made something happen.
Yeah.
Because, I think movement in the wrong direction is still better than this torture that we live through now.
Yes.
And we literally have to lead the country for him. Right? Because everything that happens because someone took leadership. And the very super ultra famous, most famous cop of all time, Mkhwanazi, right now has single-handedly started 2 commissions, one in Parliament, one delayed, and poor fall guy was suspended, but I guess they're getting paid, so it's fine. And it took Mkhwanazi to say, oh, no, I'm making a decision. I think we need more people from KZN. Hey? KZN makes things happen. Tourism, KZN tourism, use that line. KZN, we make things happen.
Yeah. We make people disappear. We make money appear. We do all kinds of things in KZN. Before we go and talk about these commissions of inquiry and what came out of the Mkhwanazi statements, which caused such an effect. I suppose one of the big differences between Jacob Zuma and Cyril Ramaphosa is that Jacob Zuma was smart enough never to put assets in his name. When all of his dealings was to other people who then look after him to this day.
Yeah.
There's no bank. You're not going to go find a bank account with a lot of money in it. No. You learned that with the Shabir Sheikh thing.
Yeah.
And all the money belongs to somebody else, and they just happen to like him a lot and buy him all of his groceries and toys and things like that.
Or be sort of a distant relative or something. Yeah, no, he's an interesting character. Jacob Zuma is fascinating, and it's funny that he was even able to come back, but I guess he's ultra likable and has charisma for days.
Yeah.
And now he's come back with MK. But he was much better than, he didn't have stuff in his name, come to think of it. He had Kulubuse, he had his son, and he had some of the business people around him. But Thabo Mbeki did too. The only difference is Thabo Mbeki had the guys go into real business, and they're still there, you know, the Saki Makozomas, and that was his crowd, right?
Yes.
Those were his Guptas. And then Jacob Zuma had,
And then, of course, he started MK, which caused the disruption of our political scene.
Yeah.
And still to this day, they're obviously a big factor in our politics. Since we last spoke, which was a while back, they seem to be in more disarray than ever. Disarray seems to be their stock in trade. That seems to be what it is they do.
Yeah.
When Jacob Zuma kept the ANC in disarray, at least he had the big machinery of the ANC to bail him out of his worst excesses.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's there in MK. How are you feeling about MK and the future for that party?
Well, first, I think we all have not said thank you to Jacob Zuma as we all owe him. Because if it wasn't for the MK, we would possibly be living under ANC majority right now. And I don't think enough of us have sent flowers to Nkandla to say, thank you, Mr. Zuma. Thank you, Msholozi.
Yeah.
Because we have a 40% ANC now because of his last minute chess move, as he so famously is known. So, but then after they come into power, I think the problem is with the MK is you have this operator who is behind the scenes, but needs to be in charge while absent. And I think a lot of the disarray with the MK is because it has to be in disarray, because if it gets organized, well, then he'll disappear. And I think that may possibly be what was the issue with Floyd, because Floyd was, you know, in whatever way trying to add structure, but structure in the MK is not in the boss's favor, because you can't get so organized that I can't shift things around. So he's got to keep it all fluid so that he's still leading from behind the curtain, because it's the weirdest party where the president never says anything, right? But you see their fingerprint throughout everything, and it's this invisible figure where everyone's just quoting this person we haven't seen in 6 months, and unfortunately also he can't be in parliament, which is weird for the leader of the party, right? I guess Mashaba didn't do it, but then the numbers and what's happening in the metros make sense. But he can't be in parliament, and he's, you know, you can't be president and then be something less than a president, but then he's still got his mission. He needs to get rid of Ramaphosa. I don't know what's the anger with Ramaphosa. He didn't protect him, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, you see, there's a thing that I realized, and I said this, and it was, talk about one of those opinion pieces that go wrong.
Yeah.
I did an opinion piece a while back where I said Donald Trump is Jacob Zuma.
Okay.
They are the same person, right? They operate, they work off exactly the same hymn sheet, which means that now immediately I'm going to get a flood of comments from both sides saying, how dare you compare my guy to that guy? But just hear me out here. They both hate losing.
Yeah.
And they will get even.
Okay.
They will get even. And that's why Donald Trump can't finish a sentence without saying something bad about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because it is the one loss.
He beat him once.
Yeah. And he just can't deal with it. In actual fact, I'll tell you a story. I did a leadership event many years ago when I used to do a lot of corporate events, and we actually had Donald Trump as one of the speakers.
Okay.
It was a satellite event from the US, and he was giving his talk, and this was in his apprentice heyday.
Okay.
And he was giving you his business philosophies. It was a ramble. It's entertainment. You can't take your eyes off the screen. He's talking some pearls of wisdom, some absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
But you can't stop watching. He says he's going to give you his 6 rules, and he gets to the end of his 6th rule, and he says, and those were really in the days of, I've got 5 rules for this, and you've got 6 rules for that, and he's got his 6 rules. He says, you know what? I'm going to give you my 7th rule. Right? I always get even.
Whoa.
He says, it doesn't matter. If somebody does something to me, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much it costs me. I will get even.
Wow.
Right. And I think that I saw that must have been around 2006. And he's true to his word. He gets even. You can see what he's doing. He's dismantling everything that Biden did because he felt that he got beaten by Biden. Zuma, I think, is the same. You can do whatever you like. He'll smile, he'll laugh, but he's going to get even with you. He's coming for you, and he's not going to rest until he exacts revenge.
Yeah.
So I think that's what drives him. Obviously, one could say with MK as with EFF. EFF, I love the statement that says that people will vote for them until the first time they pay tax.
Yeah.
Once they pay tax once, they're never voting for the EFF again.
Yeah.
But I think with both parties, their biggest kryptonite, the thing that must keep them awake at night, is actually running something. It's quite comfortable to never run something in politics, right? And I think that MK are going to win quite a number of wards in the next local government election.
Yeah.
Even if they don't do as well as they did in the last national election and they get 8%. It's still a lot of wards that they're going to run, and it's going to be a shit show. There is no way. They've never once spoken about management or running or governance or anything of the sort.
No. They want to dismantle dismantle the Constitution. So it's awesome listening to political rhetoric, because sometimes they say things and you're like, what do you have in mind exactly? No, let's just get rid of the Constitution and have the kings in charge.
Yes.
But of course, politicians don't have to mean what they say. Hey, it must just feel nice to someone. Yeah, no, the EFF, I think, I don't see it. I don't see it being anything in 2035. 34, right? Because we have 2029. They may just scrape through because of what's happening. But by 2035, I think either a brand new organization will come out of it or it will just collapse to nothing. So it will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think our political, our whole scene will have changed dramatically by then. I don't think that what we're seeing now will be reflected.
Will look anything like
in actual fact, that we may see a dramatic change by 2029 already. I think you and I are one on that.
Yeah.
And the reason, Bonsai, is that we have spoken about it, that there is a dramatically big hole in our politics. Right? You've got the party that I think that, and I'll get the comments again, the party that, the DA, that people think is in the right is actually a liberal party. It's nearer left than it is right. They also don't want you to be wealthy. They just want to run things better and tax the hell out of you.
Yeah.
They don't really want to build wealth. They don't, there's no part. I mean, I sat here with Toby Chance, one of their shadow ministers of trade and industry, going through, do you know that the DA has an economic policy? So we went through the economic policy, and it is pale, it is watered down soup.
Yeah.
It's not an economic policy that will drive growth.
Yeah.
As somebody that understands what drives growth, that economic policy will not drive growth.
Yeah.
That's not to say that a DA government wouldn't be better for business. It would, because the trains would run. And somewhere near on time, the roads, the potholes will be filled and the water will come out at the taps. That's good for business. but there's no Javier Milei at the helm. There's nobody there that's got a plan, and you see it in government, where they can't say anything because they don't have anything to say around economic policy.
Yeah. No, DA is economically is certainly, I have to agree. They're like in the land of the blind, right? So because they have to be compared to the ANC. Number two, the numbers. They are a 20% party, so they significant. But we don't really have someone that's saying, I want 10% economic growth.
Yeah, and this is how I'm going to get it.
And this is how,
there's no how.
Yeah, so of course, if the DA had to win with, the blockages they want to remove, okay, then we'll get up to about 3-4, percent economic growth. But yeah, we actually have such a big gap in the country, socially, economically, just our politics. There's a huge gap that we actually don't have. We literally have the ANC, and then we have ANC angry, and then we have ANC revenge, and then
white.
we have if the ANC had a Model C side chick, then we've got the kids, right? The diet ANCs, and then you have the DA, which
is ANC white.
It's ANC light, ANC white. That rhymes. I like it. Okay, and then you have the DA, which of course sort of goes further to the right. But it's very funny when I listen to the insults against the DA, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, this right wing. I'm like, guys, come on. We don't have anything that's aggressive economically.
Yes.
And I think that's a problem, because I think what you need in a country like ours, where we're not a dual party state like the States, is what that means is your duality now has to be spread out over many parties. And I think we just need one crazy party that says scrap the grant and just goes crazy, right? So they'll get 5%, but they get to balance the messaging so that people kind of think, oh, you crazy, and I'll go with this one. They're not as crazy as you are, and we get something. I heard, I don't know if it's true, that the ANC Lite parties want to start a centrist party.
Yeah, they want to get together. I actually had Musi Maimani to say, and then of course he gives you the Musi answer, which is, look, I'll talk to anyone kind of thing, right? Which is, but yes, there is talks on the go between, and those guys are going to go, and 1 + 1 + 1 is going to equal 1.
Yeah.
But because those parties ideologically don't really have any solution.
Yeah, if they have an ideology, hey.
Yeah, look, I mean, the ideology is, come on, guys, let's just try harder.
Yeah, let's do ANC.
But we'll do it better.
But we smarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got nice accents.
But let's think better, and let's do it in English.
Yes.
And let's stop the Amandla thing.
Yeah.
And let's not say revolution.
Yeah.
Let's say reset. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. It always reminds me, and I've said it before, I remember back in the heyday of apartheid, when we almost had a two-party system back then. You had the National Party and then the United Party, who continued to fall until they disappeared. But the point was that sometime in the 70s, and the burning issue was, you are a more verlichte party, a more enlightened party. Okay. Where do you stand on apartheid?
Yeah.
And they actually had an election slogan. You will love this. The election slogan, I'm not on the billboards, was apartheid with justice.
Yeah.
That's what they were trying to sell.
Yeah, that's BEE, right? With brains.
Yes, that kind of thing. Right? And they expected people, that was going to be enough. Because either it was go heavy on the apartheid or scrap it.
Or Lite,
Not apartheid with justice. Because there was no way to do justice to an illegitimate system. And I get the feeling that that's what those parties are trying to solve. The big question is, to me, whether those parties, whether South Africa's not had enough of the small parties. Because we've kind of been hoping for the moment, and yes, we could do it by law in putting thresholds for coalitions, etc. But whether South Africa hasn't had enough of these time-wasting, money-stealing parties that do more harm than what people really understand.
I think the small parties have not done themselves a favor. So you had Mashaba, who came out. First time we heard a politician say, I'm a capitalist and I don't apologize. And that's what got a lot of people with Action SA.
And no race-based laws.
And race nonsense is blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, stop complaining about Pretoria. Go back to Europe. Okay. And although he used to say, I believe in social justice, but he only said it when bad-mouthing the DA. So I think many people didn't take it too far. So then you had him do a U-turn. The PA, same thing. U-turn. And Bossa, I guess they just said job, so that's fine. They still kind of safe. They sort of playing the safe game of say nothing so you don't ever get in trouble. Don't say it clearly, whatever it is you're up to, and then you'll just kind of maneuver. And who's the other party?
Rise.
Oh, then you had Rise, which also kind of said we'll go smart. And we cleverer, and if you ask a straightforward question, we'll talk in circles so you don't quite get where we stand. But what happened is the GNU created a dichotomy where too many decisions are becoming very clear. VAT was number one. That said, are you going ANC side or DA side? And unfortunately, I think the big downfall for the small parties is they compromise the philosophical dichotomy and confused it with, are you with DA, the party? And so then they said, no, I'm not with DA. I hate the DA. And in the process said, I'm with the ANC, when all of them campaigned off the back of, we deeply hate the ANC. I mean, you had Action SA even enter the fray where they could have just stayed out and say, we coming in to vote for that. Yes. And unfortunately, the national dialogue is the second time this is happening. And there's a dichotomy of, are you for results or are you for talking? But now, unfortunately, the DA pulled out and they looking at it and going, I'm not with the DA. And then they're going, I'm for talking, which means I'm for ANC. So I think most of the small parties are going to suffer that in the next elections, because if you're a small party, you don't want to be riding the dying party unless somehow you differentiate yourself in there. And so far, they're not.
I can't see why none of them are differentiating themselves, and I don't see what their plan is by doing what they're doing. But I want to let's talk about some of the issues, because why don't you support BEE? What is your reasoning behind you've been outspoken in saying you do not support BEE. I've been outspoken. What is your reason?
BEE. So I don't support Black economic empowerment because I support blacks. Okay. And Black economic empowerment disempowers blacks.
Yes.
So So just because something is called something doesn't mean it has anything to do with what it's called, because it actually is black politician economic empowerment. So I don't support the economic empowerment of black politicians, especially if it's at the expense of black citizens. So I ultimately support BCEE, and because BEE does not support black citizen economic empowerment, I don't support.
Okay, so let's
BEE.
just say it was applied and they said nobody that's politically connected somehow, right?
Yeah.
Would you be supportive of BEE?
Yeah, like if I could jump down, for instance, and suspend gravity for a while. Yeah. So it's so hypothetical because I don't support. So BEE, one of the great lies of the ANC defenders is the whole, and I've heard it so many times, and each time, that's why I don't have any hair. I pull it out when I hear it. Each time I hear someone saying, the policies are there, we just need implementation. Yeah. Then I'm like, you should not be an entrepreneur, because you sound like the guy that's going to start a business, no customers come for 30 years, and you think it's because you're not implementing. No, it's because your business plan sucks. Okay, otherwise you'd have customers after 30 years. So BEE cannot work because it breaks basic economic principles. So it's not that it was done wrong and the guys were corrupt, inherently corrupt. So anyone who gets involved with BEE will be corrupt, because BEE is a corrupting structure in an economy. So I don't support BEE, and not, it's not even about the black and the whatever they've come up with, but just the concept of some nincompoop deciding they are so smart that I'm going to probably spend money 30 times today. And you probably are too. There's probably, you know, and now then there are 60 million of us. Okay, and that's just one day. For some nincompoop somewhere to sit and be so smart that they're going to figure out how to channel where my 30 expenditures today will go, and they'll be able to make sure that 20 of them are to black people, and they're going to manage you as well, and the rest of 60 million of us. It's just so crazy, and it's such hubris. It's such pride of the highest level that someone thinks they can do that. So BEE cannot work because it cannot work. We can make it cat economic empowerment, it won't work. We can make it short people economic empowerment, it won't work, because the economy just does not work like that. And it only makes sense to a politician because you just say it loud.
Yeah, and why it would make sense to a politician is that, and I think this was one of those really unintended benefits when BEE came along, largely because of white businesses thinking this was a good idea, is that if I have to take on a partner in my business, just in the normal scheme of things, I am going to go and find somebody who can enhance my business. Yeah. So because we do podcasts, I'm going to get the best cameraman, the best producer, and make him a partner in my business, right? That makes sense. But now if I have to if I'm now got a gun to my head and I've got to choose who to give, rather than get a good producer, let me get somebody who works for the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture to be my partner. Maybe the deputy minister or the minister, the former minister, whatever. So that he can give us a lot of...
Because then it makes sense.
I'm going to get tenders because that guy knows who to speak to. Yeah. So whether, it's corruption in its mildest, in its legal form. But it's still corruption. It's still... So, it is pretty crazy. We started talking earlier about the Mlanga Commission, the all on the back of those revelations by General Mkhwanazi,
the national hero.
National hero.
Yeah.
I'm a bit concerned, and once again, because I'm going for bad comments on this particular one,
Yeah.
I had Clement Manyatela here the other day from 702, and we were talking about it, and you were saying a little bit uncomfortable of giving him the cape.
Yeah.
Right, because you don't know whether the guy himself is not doing this as a preemptive strike,
Yeah.
right? And anyone in government, I've got my doubts as to whether they're doing it, especially that high up. But let's just say, right, and as I did a piece, what he's showing more than anything is just how desperate we are for somebody to get up and maybe talk on our behalf and seem like they give a shit about you and I and our lives and the country. And in stepped General Mkhwanazi. Let's hope that I'm not saying that he is one thing or another. I'm just saying, let's be logical about this. I'm an old gambler. I play the odds, and the odds tell me a different story. But let's just say he's doing this, and he's all this mess that we're seeing. And as you say, there's two messes. There's a commission of inquiry, which, surprise, surprise, we have to delay the start because we couldn't get computers and we couldn't get cell phones.
Yeah.
My immediate thought is, doesn't everybody already have a cell phone and a laptop and whatever? But anyway, it's clearly not. This is government and it's our money, so they might as well go. So they've delayed the start and they're spinning their wheels, and clearly that's going to be a problem. And then the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, where they spend 10 hours trying to work out a framework.
Yeah. Chaired by the accused, right?
Yeah, chaired by Soviet Lekhanyani. He sounds like an honest broker to me. What could go wrong?
Soviet. That's such an awesome name.
Beautiful name.
But I mean, and I'm not saying he's accused number one because it's my words. That's what Ramaphosa said at the State Capture Commission, right? So I think for me, I'm not really worried. I'm happy about both processes. Only as far as the ANC wasn't able to just squash like we've had in the past, and also on Mkhwanazi, I'm not taking sides, and it's great that South Africa found someone to march in the street and say hands off, and that shows the gap in leadership, because he is actually the first person to come out and say something's wrong, there's corruption. So, and for that we applaud him, and of course there are two ways. He either did it as a preemptive strike to cover his back because they were coming for him, because they were all in shenanigans, but it can also be a preemptive strike because he's doing the right thing. So either way, I'm happy though, because the cancer is being blown up. Yeah. And I don't think they'll be able to manage it not to bring enough damage to the ANC. Because you can only manage that much. You can only delay it that long. You can't stop someone saying something that opens a can of worms and gives some journalist a cue to go and investigate something. Maybe Myberg, and he can, go, sure, how much? Yeah, sure. 50,000. Yeah, sure. Cheers. So,
why did they think he was photographing the money? What was he going to do with that photo? Surely you would have said, please don't photograph the money.
That was the best piece of investigative journalism we've seen in a long time. So I think what's good. So this is good for the country.
Yes.
Because I think they will play that game. Soviet has his marching orders. remember also with the ANC, ANC is not a political organization. It's a military organization, right? And they've had such an influence over the country. I'm going back to something you said in passing, that we still need to get out of. So I'll give you two examples. I was listening to...
Sorry, if I could just interrupt. Bonsai steals all my stuff. Let it be known. Carry on.
So, oh, is it? Okay, so I was listening to an interview. I don't steal it on purpose. I listen to him and I forget. And then after I say it, he says, that's my stuff. So it's not theft without intention. Yeah. So now I was listening to someone talking on SABC or something. And they said, I think they were talking to Helen Ziller. And they said, so what about your DA deployees? And Helen Ziller said, we don't deploy people, we appoint. And the person said, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, same thing, semantics. And it's like, no, actually it's not semantics. There is no deployment in our constitution. In fact, it is unconstitutional to deploy because our constitution says they must be independent. And very funny, I heard a minister of another party in the GNU. Okay, it's IFP minister, Hlengwa, and he was talking about something, and they said, so what you going to do? And he says, no, just, we need to just carry on without, as our president has deployed us. I'm like, no. Our presidents do not deploy, they appoint, right? Because you only deploy soldiers. Yeah. Meaning you follow orders.
Yes. So you're doing the job, but you still got to clear with head office before you do anything else. Right?
Oh, yeah. Soldiers are not paid to think. They're paid to execute. Right. And so Lekhanyana is a deployee, so he'll do his job, but he can't stop. So you have 4 ANC and it's 11. He can't stop the 8 people from getting through to score points. And in the process, we the citizens win. So I think it's going to be fun the next 6 months.
Don't you find it amazing, be doing what you're doing and what I'm doing, how certain politicians haven't quite grasped the impact of a lot of the work we do and the mood, and that people have got used to it very quickly. So they expect you and I to sit on this on this case, not let it go. And of course, we're delighted to do it. And yet there's still this kind of feeling like you can control the narrative.
Yeah.
When you quite simply can't. And when you go and purposely botch a commission of inquiry, like as they've done, we're not going to keep quiet about it. We're not SABC or a licensed radio station that depends on the license. We're going to sit on it every day.
And 2 million
it's just going to cost you votes.
2 million people will watch analyses within the first hour of doing that. So they're not used to it, and unfortunately it came too fast on them. Yeah. We didn't warn them, and it's growing, and so I think they just don't have the wherewithal, the skills to handle that.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And then of course in the middle of all of this, we've got this war ongoing with the USA. Yeah. We've decided to stick with our outdated alliances. And we have the head of the Defense Force going to Iran saying, we stand with you. I wonder if they're going to stand with Iran when the bombs start falling. But the point is that we've got some foreign relations crises.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? I mean,
I'm not sure it's a crisis as opposed to absence. Because, even when we talk about the alliances that we have, it's like, what alliances? Like, who are we aligned with and what are we doing with them? It's just a bunch of anger and just shouting, and our foreign relations are, we will not be bullied. Full stop. That's the full document.
Yeah.
Because, you look at all the mess that's happening, and it's like, what have we done with Iran? What have we done with China? Because I haven't seen it. I do use something that's a Russian app of some kind, but there's nothing real, sizable, proper that we're doing with anyone, and it just seems to be proving a point. Seems to be the point of it all, and it's the tariffs. I think they've probably kicked in by now, but we have Goodyear closing anyway, and so it's just a big mess. But I think we just processing the ANC out.
Yeah, so I find the whole kind of struggle alliance is one of those things that I have to smile about, because, I do understand that a lot of people they didn't concentrate too much in history class, and they don't, perhaps they've got better things to do than some of the things I've got to do. But South Africa had no alliance with Iran whatsoever. In actual fact, after the Ayatollahs came into power, they were taken completely with a war against Iraq. They had nothing to do with South Africa. In actual fact, South Africa used to trade, apartheid South Africa used to trade with the Shah, who was the ultimate bad guy in Iran, and therefore we didn't have any kind of struggle alliance with him. And of course, China turned their back on South Africa. Right, and the Soviet Union, when China had their big split from the Soviet Union, so we had no alliance with China. And now it's being history, they're trying to rewrite history as if to say, no, these guys were with us in the trenches.
Yeah.
I can tell you, to anybody that wants to know who was in the trenches with the ANC during the struggle, it was Cuba, it was the Soviet Union, it was largely East German, Czechoslovakian and Bulgarian, right? It was no Chinese, nowhere near, and no Iranians.
And then it gets confusing when you say Soviet Union, because there's a war between Russia and Ukraine, and that's both. And then it's like, whose side do we take there?
Yeah.
Because they're both in. But and I think the thinking, because it's ideological, it's just anti-Westernism. And so it becomes a enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, whoever is not in good books with the West, well, there we go. Yeah. That's our friend. But and it's funny when you hear this, are you with America or China? And you're like, have you seen how much FDI goes from China to America, and how much FDI goes from America to China?
Yeah.
If I count those numbers, I call those two friends.
Yes.
So
100,000%. I said this in an interview I did recently with another podcaster, Mighty Jamie, where I said America and China are natural allies. The one produces, the one consumes.
Yeah.
The one invests, the one gives them investment opportunities. Yeah. It is the most symbiotic relationship in the world. There are people in this country that believe that China will forego their billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of trade with America so that they can help little old South Africa, like that's ever going to happen.
And investments.
Yeah.
Because I think China is one of the biggest investors in America.
And vice versa.
And America is the biggest investor in China.
Yeah.
And we just here on the side, not getting any investment from China or America.
Yeah.
And feeling powerful.
Yeah, and in both cases, they've got these sort of like strange leaders who's both into their 70s. Their time will pass, and those two countries will sort out their differences very, very quickly, and they are very far away from having a war, and it's just a natural progression. Bonsai, it's been wonderful to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't found Bonsai Shongwe, what's wrong with you? Go and find him on YouTube. Fantastic podcast. You should watch it every day whenever it comes out. He does the most brilliant analysis on his show. And he's going to keep coming back to the State of the Nation until he's too big to come here, and then he won't come here like Caesar. But Bonsai, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. This is always the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To everybody that joined us today, remember, go and support Pace Car Rental. You get a discount on your car. Like and subscribe. State of the Nation. We need as many people as possible. We've got to stay ahead of Bonsai. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye. Join us at our next State of the Nation breakfast on Thursday, the 4th of September, 2025, at the Tryst in Kramerville, Sandton. Our guests at that event will include Corné Mulder, Musi Maimani, and Celiers Brin, as we discuss whether South Africa has any leaders at all. To book, visit sona.co.za.